It feels like a relationship, but nobody commits. Welcome to the situationship. Why do they exist? Well, situationships exist for one reason. We were taught to treat love like a feeling, not a skill. If you walk through UCSD today, you'll see couples who aren't couples. Hear the phrase, "What are we?" And hear, "I'm not looking for anything serious right now." We are the most connected generation in history, yet we can't commit to a coffee date next week. Why is our generation so bad at love? We've been given a guidebook for love that treats it in two ways, either as a destiny or as a transaction. Now, I want to argue a third way, love as a learnable craft. You've probably heard love portrayed as when you know, the one. The idea that love is a destined fate, and you just have to go out and find it. But here's the problem. Research by Gaynor and colleagues show that people who hold strong destiny beliefs are actually more likely to break up than those with growth beliefs. Dating apps have trained us to treat people like products. We treat dating like a cost-benefit analysis. We're looking for a partner with the best stats, like their height, career, even follower count. Psychologist Eli Finkel points out that the paradox of choice in online dating turns us into shoppers rather than partners. We're constantly looking for the next best partner, worried we're going to be quote-unquote scammed by a partner who doesn't provide equal value. When the destiny myth meets the market model, you get the perfect blend to create a stalemate. The destiny myth says, don't settle for less than perfect. And the market model says, there's always someone better one swipe away. So we stay in situationships, keeping our options open, waiting for a person who requires zero effort, but is also the best possible option on the market. So where does that bring us? Well, there's a third way to look at love, and it's to look at love as a skill. As Eric Tran famously argued, love is an art. And if we want to learn how to love, we must proceed in the same way we have to proceed if we want to learn any other art. Before I came here to San Diego, I lived through the exact same misconception of love that I'm talking about today. It was a situationship that lasted months, but it occupied my head for a lot longer. It had all the contents of a relationship, but with none of the commitment. One day we were on a date, and the following day, it was, let's just be friends. I was confused as she told me she wanted to go see a movie the following week, so I was left in this state of total confusion for months. But the market model doesn't give closure, and it only produces mixed signals. While I was traveling abroad for the summer, she'd messaged me saying that she missed me. And then when I came back home, she asked to see me one more time before I go off to college. She proceeded to ask for a hug and then tell me to have a good life and hope that I found the love of my life at college. Now, I don't blame her at all for what she did. We were kids, and as I said, we were taught to view love in two corrupted ways. It was a cycle of emotional whiplash. Why? Because we were treating love like a feeling you fall into or out of, rather than a choice you actively make. A situationship is inherently a relationship that has no start, no end, and no closure. It's a building made out of cardboard, a building with absolutely no architecture. Love isn't something you find in a person, it's something that two people have to decide to build together. Now, why does this matter right now at UCSD? Well, it's because we're the loneliest generation on record. According to this Cigna study about loneliness in the workplace, nearly 8 in 10 Gen Zers and 7 in 10 millennials are lonely, versus only half of boomers. We are surrounded by thousands of peers, and yet we're starving for depth just because we've been told that real love shouldn't be work. We've weaponized therapy speak. We call everything a red flag because we're looking for the next chance to return to the market. If there's a red flag, then they're not the one. Now, if we were to view love actively and as a craft, we'd begin to regain our agency. We would stop waiting to be chosen by the perfect person, and we'd start choosing to be an active participant in our relationships. When we treat people as assets to upgrade our social status, we lose our humanity. We become consumers rather than learning to love actively. At UCSD, we aren't here to just find a degree. We're here to work for it. So why do we treat our hearts with less rigor than our own GPAs? The goal isn't to find the one, it's to become the right two. So stop waiting for the one. Stop shopping for the perfect person. We have to stop waiting to find the person who requires zero effort. That person just doesn't exist. The situationship ends when the architecture begins. So stop scrolling and start building.